Hi guys, Chris here, and on this video, we are ripping apart an HP Envy 750. So this is a very simple computer. I should be able to just do this with it standing up like this. I shouldn't need to do a top down. It's a very simple computer. So I've already started because of some other video stuff I did, and this machine does already have a aftermarket power supply in it, but even so, the steps are the same. So you want to get all of your connectors for your power supply. Looks like that was all of it actually out of the case, so you know that you're ready to pull the power supply. And then on the back of the case, there are they used actually a hex or some sort of hex, maybe a star screwdriver that has a flathead in it as well, so you can just use a flathead. I wouldn't bother unless you already have the unusual shaped one on hand. I wouldn't bother. I would just use a flathead and just unscrew them that way. They're fairly loose, so once you loosen them, you can even pull them with your finger. Yeah, they even unscrew with your finger. So power supply is unscrewed. Let's see here. Did I miss one? I think I missed one. Oh, that's weird. It doesn't want to... Oh, wait. Okay, there we go. I forgot these HPs have this. So, you can see... Can you see that? Yes, you can. Okay, right here, right there, there's a little tab. You push that tab down, power supply comes out. Now, if for whatever reason, when you do the upgrade to it, you decide you want to use a larger than standard power supply, what you do is you typically can just push it over this. It'll make it so that the locking mechanism for the power supply doesn't work properly anymore, but the power supply should go in and you shouldn't have a problem with physically installing it. Okay, so let's unplug all these cables. Looks like that's some sort of USB maybe. That's another USB. That is our front panel audio. And then you've got a couple of SATA ports here. They're just right on the motherboard right there. They're just straight up SATA cables. That one looks like it was for the optical drive. And I think this second one, yeah, that's for the hard drive. So we pull the drives out, and it looks like they have some sort of... That's a little bit unusual. It looks like they have some sort of grounding on them. I've never actually seen that on a SATA cable before. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm curious what that's actually for. I've never seen that before. Yeah, same with this one. It's got some sort of, it's got a ground on it for some weird reason. That's actually really unusual. Okay, so I'm gonna guess this is your front panel connector, which interestingly enough, I believe that's a standard modern front panel connector plug. Let's see here. So they've got, let's see. No, it might not be. Okay, I don't think it's standard configuration, but I do believe, so if you put a different motherboard in here, which I'm not sure why you would use this case for a different board, but if you decide you want to do that, and that's the way you've decided to go, you should be able, I'm gonna make a wild guess that green and red, because it's got green and red and then two blacks. I'm gonna make a wild guess that green and red are probably powered. Now it is possible that they used one color and one black as one thing and then one color and one black as another thing. But my best guess is going to be that if you mess around, typically two of them that are side by side are going to be your power switch. Maybe I'll mess with that later. But okay, and then to take the board out, it's the exact same configuration. It looks like there's another plug here. So in the corner, or not in the corner, but in the side right there, you want to unplug this. Be very careful with it. The wires are very fragile. I don't actually know what this is for. Does it say? It might say what it's for. It doesn't say what it's for. Oh, it's for, that's funny. It's for the little LED inside here. That's kind of funny, actually. Okay, so then They use the same weird, like, hex or whatever, plus flathead screws for the motherboard. Now, normally you want to do this sitting down, or with the board sitting down, but I didn't feel like it's such a simple design unit that I didn't really feel like setting up a vertical look down camera. It takes quite a while to do that, for me to actually configure it right. So I was like, okay, I'll just do it with it standing up. When I reassemble it, I'll probably do it with a top-down camera. Just because when I do that, I'm going to be doing some stuff that's a little more complicated. But so in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all but one screw, and then I'll hold it while I do that last screw. So this should just pop right out. I don't think this is going to give us a whole lot of trouble. And it's completely standard micro ATX form factor. It's got the same screw mounts, generally same placing, although with the exception of the motherboard 4-pin. The motherboard 4-pin is in a slightly unusual location right there. It looks like I have a fan I need to do too. Okay, so we're going to do all but this last top center one. Come on. I'm uncertain as to why they used this half hex or whatever it is, half flathead, but that's what they did, so it's what they did. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this. Maybe not. Okay, come on out. There we go. Okay. Well, there's a screw up there. I don't know what that was from. But looks like now you're going to want to push down on that tab for the CD drive, and then just kind of lift the board out. Okay, so then if you wanted to remove the optical drive, you would pull the front panel off. I thought I dusted this better than this. And then the front, oh, there we go. Okay, so then this green thing here, so you've got this big green lever right there. You literally push that down, push it, and pull it out. So now you have all of your electronics completely removed. All you have left is just the mounts. And so now we can properly clean it and reinstall what I want in it. And even do, we're going to do a real cable management job on this once it's done. Just for quick reference for anyone wondering, this is a slightly unusual board. It's a DDR3 based, I'm guessing it's not Z170. I'm guessing it's like H170 or something, but it is a DDR3 based board. It looks like the backplate is somewhat permanently attached, so you're probably not going to take that off. I think it's it's attached to the socket. It does have a wireless card in it, and it does use DDR3, as I mentioned already, and I believe it'll take up to 16 gigs. I can't see you putting more than 16 gigs in here because it has 2 slots, and consumer DDR3, I believe, only went up to 8 gigs. I could be wrong. Maybe it'll take server grade, but I would assume it doesn't. And I would assume for the uses of this machine, you really shouldn't need more than 16 gigs. You're going to need more machine if you need more than 16 gigs. So, and then it's got integrated HDMI, 2 of them actually, USB 3, 2 mounted ports, USB 2, network, and your standard pink, green, and blue on your audio outputs. And then you've got one PCI Express SX16, and it looks like you do not have a M.2 NVMe, and you've got one PCIe X1. So yeah, there is, interestingly enough, there is no NVMe, which is a little bit unusual, but I would have expected it. But I guess it's a mid-range system, so it is what it is. But anyway, I hope that gives you guys an idea of what you can do with this, and thanks for watching.